Alright players. It's the first day of 2026. And today I'm sharing some key tips for winning matches and my competition experience. First, let's talk about the most crucial principle, consistency. Players ask why my hook serve is so effective. It's because of endless repetition. I've likely served over 1,000,000 of them. Many players give up after a few thousand serves. You must stay consistent, because there are no shortcuts in table tennis. The sport rewards effort. Second, amateur players must maintain a healthy mindset. Avoid becoming obsessed with only winning. I went through a phase where I was desperate to win, but you must avoid this obsession. Our primary goal is to enjoy the game. For amateur players, don't judge your performance by wins or losses. Instead, focus on whether you enjoyed playing today. For instance, maybe today in a match, you executed a loop you were previously afraid to try. Or you successfully hit a down-the-line shot you never had before. Perhaps you executed an aggressive long push when you usually wouldn't. That is progress. You must adopt this mindset to successfully apply the advanced techniques and correct concepts you learn into your actual matches. If your only goal is to win, you will play timidly for your entire table tennis career. At the amateur level, you can often win just by waiting for your opponent's errors, but I strongly advise against this mentality. When I play, I want to execute that power loop. It may not be perfect, but at least I tried it. Even landing one per game is a win, because we're playing for fitness, not for national glory. So, starting in 2026, I want you to be bold. Use new techniques, attack with loop drives, add more spin, execute aggressive long pushes, and use the banana flick. Every new technique requires an adjustment period in match play. You might lose for the first month using a banana flick, but after 2 or 3 months, you'll master it. Similarly, when learning to loop backspin, at first you'll miss the ball, misjudge the timing, or hit into the net. These issues are common. The day you finally land a powerful loop drive, it won't be from training alone. It will be the result of trial and error in real matches, learning from every failure to perfect that one shot. Training and competition have completely different rhythms, mindsets, and feelings for the ball. If you don't try new techniques in a match, you'll never know where your real weaknesses are. Next, let's share some match play experience, starting with the pre-game coin toss. If your opponent chooses to serve first, you should choose your preferred side of the table. For me, I'd choose this side because the wall behind my opponent has fewer distractions. Imagine if there's movement behind your opponent versus a clear background. Your ability to focus will be completely different. So for the first game, always choose the side with the least visual distraction to maximize your focus, as you'll also play on this side in the deciding game of a best-of-3 or best-of-5 match. This holds true for any match that goes to a deciding game, like 4-3. So, always make this choice. I recommend not choosing to serve first at the start of a match. Why? If your opponent serves first, the score will progress to 2-2, 4-4, 6-6, 8-8. At the crucial points, like 10-8 or 9-9, the serve will be in your hands. Whoever serves first will be receiving at the most critical moments. This prevents you from losing a crucial point by misreading a serve after fighting to 9-9. If you lose that key point, you might still be disoriented when you switch sides, face new visual distractions, and quickly fall behind in the next game, leading to a 2-0 loss. That's the first point. Now for the second, when you're receiving your opponent's serve. Do not expose your weaknesses with your ready position. If you stand too far to one side, you leave a massive opening on your forehand or backhand. If you stand too close, they'll serve long to jam you. If you stand too far back, they'll serve short. Your receive stance should cover your backhand side, with a low center of gravity, knees bent, and weight forward. Carry yourself like a warrior, your presence must be strong. A lazy stance invites a quick attack. Your receive stance must project confidence and intensity. The more professional you look, the more your opponent will hesitate. The more casual you appear, the more confidence you give them. Another point, at the start of a match, your body is cold and stiff. You need to warm up. Always warm up before a match. First, to prevent injury. Second, do some leg and waist stretches, and a few jumps to get your body activated. Right before receiving, at 0 to 0, you can wipe the table, shift your weight, or do a small hop. Get your body moving into a state of readiness, then take your stance. If your opponent is taking their time and you're just standing still, you are a perfect target for a surprise long serve. You will be caught flat-footed. But if you are in motion, your opponent will see you're prepared. This may cause them to be more cautious and opt for a more standard serve. Now let's talk about serving. The biggest mistake amateur players make is rushing their serves. As you pick up the ball, you should already be planning your tactic. I'll serve short to their forehand. If they push it back half long, my hand needs to be up, my feet must move, and my center of gravity must be low. Then, lock in your position. You can have a pre-serve routine, but the goal is to stabilize yourself. Stay calm, keep your hand steady. Observe the rhythm. Your serve must be an explosive action from a static, controlled posture. This sudden change in tempo will disrupt your opponent. Once your opponent is off balance, your serve has already given you the advantage. Also, always stand close to the end line when serving. If you don't stand close enough to the table, you're likely to serve the ball so short that it doesn't even reach the table, or you'll serve it long and off the table. Standing at the end line helps ensure you get the first bounce right. Third, I will share my 3 golden rules for service return. Rule 1, you are in a reactive position. You can never be certain of your opponent's intention, so your focus must be locked onto their racket at the exact moment of contact. This will make your predictions and reactions far more accurate. The second key is your stance. You must be positioned so that you can reach any short ball with a single step. For a short forehand serve, if you're too far back, one step isn't enough. You must realize this and adjust your position forward. Position yourself to reach short balls in one step. This is how you cover the short game effectively. Remember, in a match, you don't have time for 2 steps. Amateurs struggle with short balls because they are often 2 steps away and can't position themselves correctly. It must be a one-step movement. You might ask, what about long serves? The answer is, train your reaction. Your positioning must prioritize a one-step reach for short balls. If you can't loop the long serves from this position, you need to practice it. Do not sacrifice your short game position. So, once you're covering the short game, if you can take the ball on the rise, use a short push. If you can reach the ball at the peak of its bounce, execute a long, aggressive push. If you're late and can't get to the ball early, you must contact the side of the ball. This sideswipe motion will help you control the arc and keep it low. When returning any sidespin topspin serve, your racket must start high. Whether it's forehand or backhand, keep your racket above the table surface. Second, do not take a backswing. Racket up, no backswing, and use the incoming pace. This is the key to handling sidespin topspin. For any topspin serve, this is your formula: racket up, no backswing, use their power. Watch, if my hand is stiff, the ball goes long. With the same motion but a soft hand, the ball stays short. Here it is again, stiff hand. Now, soft hand. The elasticity of your touch makes a huge difference. You must be relaxed. I think of service return like Tai Chi. Your initial contact with the ball must be soft, followed by a sudden burst of focused energy. Your touch on contact must be gentle, and then you accelerate through the ball as fast as possible. If your hand is stiff against a sidespin topspin serve, almost any amount of force will send the ball off the table. With a soft hand, I can absorb the pace and the ball won't go long. Even a gentle block with a stiff hand will go out. Look, I'm barely pushing. But if my touch is soft, I can accelerate my motion and even counterloop or flick the serve, because my racket isn't acting like a trampoline. So, if you have a stiff touch, should you use a fast, hard, outer carbon blade? Absolutely not. The moment you contact the ball, your hand turns to stone. I'm serious about this advice: avoid fast, stiff blades if your touch is hard. Players with a stiff grip need to work on softening their touch. Feel the ball like water, then release it like a waterfall. A waterfall is fast and powerful, but it's fluid, not rigid. Your hand must be relaxed. Only then can you confidently add pace to your returns. Otherwise, your pushes go long, your loops hit the net, and against topspin, your only option is a passive block. Do you really think that's not a weak return? Just getting the ball back is useless. Your opponent will immediately put it away. That covers sidespin topspin. For sidespin backspin, if you want to push, you must contact the ball to the left of your body. For a righty, do not push it in front of you, as it will likely go into the net. Use your forearm to guide the ball forward. That's how you control a backspin push. When I face a side backspin serve, my first priority is to test the spin. I'll start by playing a high, spinny loop. If I use 100% brushing action and the ball barely clears the net, that tells me the serve is extremely heavy. I cannot power loop this ball. The side backspin is too strong. If I try to drive through it, the ball will dive straight into the net. Therefore, every time I receive this player's heavy spin serve, I add a safety margin. I focus more on brushing to lift the ball over the net. Because I've already tested it and know the spin is heavy, this is the only reliable way for me to return it. Your opponent has trained for years to develop a serve that neutralizes your power loop. It's not that your technique is bad, it's that their serve is designed to stop you. Against this type of serve, I know I need that safety margin. My loop must be more friction than impact, at least 80% brushing. What if the opponent's serve is not very spinny? If a light brush sends the ball flying high, then I know I can add more quality to my shot. The next time I receive their serve, I can adjust my contact to be 50-50, balancing the ratio of impact and friction. So, after testing the spin and finding it's not heavy, I can increase the impact component, generate more speed, and add more forearm acceleration after the initial brush. Furthermore, when looping any side backspin serve, my first shot is always aimed at the middle of the table. My priority is to get the ball on the table and disrupt my opponent's rhythm, showing them I can handle their serve. I do this because I am also wary of the side spin pulling the ball wide off the table. So I always aim for the middle. This is also the most awkward spot for your opponent to defend. I will consistently attack the middle. If I see they are defending it well, then I will consider attacking the wide angles. Don't just loop to their backhand out of habit, feeling good about your powerful shot while they easily block it back. Then you start thinking, my backhand loop isn't strong enough, I have to smash it. This leads to too many errors. Then you try a forehand loop, get frustrated, and start blaming your equipment. Trying to solve problems with brute force is the lowest level of strategy in table tennis. Table tennis is a thinking person's sport. I always aim to minimize power and risk. Using full power is your highest risk option. Playing with control is the lowest risk option. I try to win with placement, variation, rhythm, speed, and spin. Only if that fails do I resort to high-risk power shots. Most amateur players can win simply by waiting for their opponent to make a mistake, unlike professionals. But amateur rallies are generally softer. So your priority should be to play smarter and with more variation. Keep your touch soft and use only 50% of your power, 50% on serves, 50% on loops, 50% on attacks. Just focus on rallying and maintaining your technique's structure. First, learn not to panic. Develop the ability to stay in the rally. If they can't finish the point against you, you are in control. For example, if I'm a beginner, my goal in a rally is just to stay with the ball and not make unforced errors. I position my feet and just keep the rally going. Stay in the point, look for the opportunity, then attack. Once you have this ability to rally consistently, adding power is an instantaneous adjustment. Look, if I just speed up my motion slightly, that's power. Generating power is simple, it's not about having superhuman strength. All it takes is relaxation and acceleration. Many players get bored with basic drills and jump to power training, then immediately to matches. Against weaker opponents who just block, any wild swing can land, making you think your flawed technique is effective. But when you face an opponent who can spin the ball and vary the rhythm, your progress will stop. You'll stagnate for years. To truly improve, you must have the patience to master the fundamentals. Let's keep up the hard work, everyone. Happy New Year! I wish all players great improvement in their skills, and remember to enjoy the game.